Look in my eyes. Look at my breasts. Do you recognize them? Just nod your head, and we'll be in my bed together.
Some movie moments push the boundaries so far, they leave audiences blushing or straight up shocked. From scenes so steamy they sparked outrage to moments that blurred the lines between acting and reality, these controversial scenes took things to a whole new level. Number 12. In this scene from Don't Look Now, a grieving couple, still coping with the loss of their daughter, find comfort in each other and share an intimate moment. While the scene is not the most explicit ever filmed, it became the subject of controversy due to long-standing rumors that the encounter was unsimulated. The realism of the scene even prompted Warren Beatty, who was dating Julie Christie, one of the film's stars at the time, to confront the film's producer, Michael Deeley, and request its removal. Beatty reportedly flew to London, arrived at Deeley's door unannounced, and argued over the scene, but Deeley insisted that it was both essential to the film and entirely simulated. The rumor resurfaced again in 2011, when another producer, Peter Katz, addressed it by saying that while the scene depicted an intimate act, it was not one that could have resulted in the conception of a child. Number 11. In a scene from the 1933 film Ecstasy, an unhappily married woman named Eva leaves her husband, Emile, and finds passion with another man. The film notably includes a moment suggesting she experiences an orgasm, something rarely depicted in cinema at the time. Due to its bold portrayal of female pleasure, Ecstasy faced significant controversy. It was banned by both the Pope and Adolf Hitler, though for different reasons. The Catholic Legion of Decency and the Vatican condemned the film for its perceived indecency, while Hitler prohibited it in Germany, largely due to the Jewish heritage of its lead actress, Hedy Lamarr. Number 10. In Miller's Girl, high school student Cairo becomes involved in an emotionally and psychologically inappropriate dynamic with a much older teacher, Mr. Miller. For her midterm assignment, she writes a story about a student and her teacher, including a scene where the teacher instructs the student to lean over a bed and read to him while they are intimate. Mr. Miller envisions himself and Cairo as the characters in her story, further blurring the boundaries between fiction and reality. A particularly explicit scene featuring a 21-year-old actress and a 52-year-old actor sparked controversy, with some viewers and critics describing it as uncomfortable and unsettling. However, the film's intimacy coordinator stated that actress Jenna Ortega felt entirely at ease during filming. Number 9. In Zack and Miri Make a Porno, while filming a scene for their movie, Zack accidentally startles Lester and Stacy during an intimate moment. The sudden interruption causes Lester to pull away, and at the same time, Stacy has an unfortunate accident. The mishap becomes even more extreme when a cameraman, positioned underneath the couple, gets caught in the mess. The scene proved too much for the MPAA, which told director Kevin Smith that the film would not receive an R rating as long as that moment remained. Instead, it would be rated NC-17, significantly limiting its marketability. Smith pushed back, citing examples of R-rated films that featured similar crude humor, including Jackass No. 2. Eventually, a compromise was reached. Smith made adjustments to the scene's sound design and toned down the simulated thrusting in another moment, allowing the film to secure an R rating. Number 8. In Shortbus, Sophia, played by Sookin Lee, a therapist struggling to experience an orgasm, embarks on a journey of self-discovery through various encounters. She explores different positions, uses a variety of toys, and even takes on new partners in her pursuit of pleasure. The film is notable for featuring unsimulated intimacy, which created controversy for Lee, who was a radio host on CBC Radio's Definitely Not the Opera at the time. Her decision to take part in such an explicit film was met with concern from her employers, and she was initially threatened with termination. However, after public outcry and support for Lee, the CBC ultimately reversed its stance and allowed her to keep her job. Number 7. The 1988 film The Last Temptation of Christ offers a unique interpretation of Jesus' life, depicting him not as a purely divine figure but as a man grappling with doubt, fear, and human desires. One of the most controversial aspects of the film is a vision in which Jesus imagines a life with Mary Magdalene, including marriage, intimacy, and children. The vision continues with Mary Magdalene's death, followed by Jesus taking a second wife and later having an affair with her sister. This portrayal of Jesus as a flawed, conflicted human being sparked intense backlash from conservative Christian groups. Viewing it as blasphemous, they launched TV and radio campaigns, staged protests outside production studios, and pressured theaters not to screen the film. Some U.S. cities banned it, and Blockbuster refused to carry it. Despite the controversy, Universal Studios defended director Martin Scorsese and the film, citing First Amendment protections. Number 6. The film 9 Songs is a series of intimate scenes that chronicle a couple's relationship through music and increasingly explicit encounters. From their first meeting, the characters engage in unsimulated intercourse, making the film one of the most controversial releases in British cinema. Described by The Guardian as the most mainstream explicit British film to hit theaters, 9 Songs faced significant backlash from critics and the press. Many condemned its content, and politician and Widcombe criticized the British Board of Film Classification, stating, "It is not the board's role to allow pornography to enter the mainstream." Actor Kieran O'Brien defended the film against its detractors, responding to the controversy by saying, "I hope I don't come across as blasé. I think we've made a very good film that should have been made." Number 5. In Titani, the main protagonist, Alexia, has an unusual attraction to cars, leading to a surreal encounter with a Cadillac. In a visually striking scene, she climbs into the front seat, and the car begins bouncing rhythmically, its lights flashing as she reaches climax. Soon after, Alexia discovers she is pregnant, with the implication that the car is the father. The film sparked controversy, with some critics interpreting it as misogynistic and transphobic. As the story unfolds, Alexia assumes the identity of a missing man named Adrian, binding her body to conceal her pregnancy in unsettling scenes filled with bodily fluids resembling motor oil. The blend of body horror, themes of transformation, and the fusion of human and machine proved divisive, leaving some audiences disturbed and others fascinated by its bold, genre-defying narrative. Number 4. In The Brown Bunny, the protagonist Bud reunites with his ex-girlfriend Daisy after experiencing a traumatic accident. Their reunion culminates in a highly explicit scene where Daisy performs oral sex on Bud. The act was unsimulated, meaning actress Chloe Sevigny, who played Daisy, actually performed on actor-director Vincent Gallo, a fact that became the focus of much of the media attention surrounding the film. This controversy overshadowed the film itself, leading to largely negative reviews. Renowned critic Roger Ebert famously compared the film unfavorably, saying, "I had a colonoscopy once, and they let me watch it on TV. It was more entertaining than The Brown Bunny." The clash between Ebert and Gallo became personal, with both men engaging in a back and forth of increasingly hostile remarks over their differing views on the film. Number 3. In the Realm of the Senses, the story follows Sada and Kichizo, a couple whose obsessive love for each other leads to increasingly explicit and violent encounters. As their relationship deepens, their sexual acts grow more extreme and depraved. The film gained notoriety due to the unsimulated nature of the sexual scenes, with the actors performing various acts that were included in the final cut. Because of its explicit content, In the Realm of the Senses was banned in the US, and the original version remains unavailable in Japan. The film was also censored in the UK. Director Nagisa Oshima faced legal repercussions for the film, being indicted on obscenity charges in Japan. Although he was ultimately acquitted, the controversy surrounding the film left a lasting stigma. Number 2. Crash explores a controversial and provocative premise, where a couple's sexual chemistry is reignited through their involvement in car crash fetishization. The film intertwines the violence of automobile accidents with sexual arousal, as various characters engage in acts spurred by their fascination with car crashes. One such scene depicts a man having intercourse with a woman's vulva-shaped scar, resulting from her accident and the steel leg braces she wears. In one of the final scenes, a husband orchestrates a crash, and then he and his wife engage in intercourse beneath the overturned car. The film sparked widespread moral panic. Critic Alexander Walker called it some of the most perverted acts and theories of sexual deviance I have ever seen propagated in mainline cinema. Due to its explicit and disturbing content, many cinemas worldwide refused to screen the film. In the US, concerns about the potential for copycat behaviors led to screenings being restricted, with AMC even posting security guards outside to prevent minors from entering. Number 1. Antichrist opens with a provocative and disturbing sequence showing a couple engaged in intense, unsimulated intercourse. During this, their toddler son manages to escape his crib and, while walking past his parents, climbs to a windowsill and tragically falls to his death. The film's controversy centers around its unflinching combination of explicit violence and sexuality, with this opening scene particularly unsettling to many viewers. The idea of the couple being so engrossed in their intimacy that they neglect their child's safety was deeply disturbing. The film sparked significant backlash due to its graphic content, and while it was initially released in many countries, its explicit scenes continued to provoke strong reactions. In France, 7 years after its release, Antichrist was banned following protests against its portrayal of violence and unsimulated intercourse. The film was set to be reclassified, but these protests led to its continued suppression. Stay tuned for more controversial stuff. Till next time.